TJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with uh pretty much my next Archetype video. It will be taking a look at the tombs where the royal family sleeps, Necrovalley, and those who watch over those tombs, the Gravekeepers. The Gravekeepers have a lot of history with Yu-Gi-Oh! And actually just a lot with the original series. For the Gravekeepers were actually seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, but these monsters are actually a couple of these monsters are based off of Ishizu Ishtar, Merrick Ishtar, and Odeon, for they are the Tomb Keepers, which is the translated name for the Gravekeepers in the OCG. The crazy thing about the Gravekeepers in Necrovalley itself is just their overwhelming control of the graveyard, and you'll actually see that in a lot of their cards' effects. Also, you'll note that a lot of their cards cannot be affected by Necrovalley, which is great for the archetype itself because they do have a lot of monsters within it that do a lot of things that correspond with the graveyard. We also have a couple of monsters in Stealth that we're looking at that have some resemblance to Necrovalley overall. And also to note, we got to talk about the typing for the Gravekeepers. They are all spellcaster type monsters. The only thing is, most of them are Earth attribute, and a majority of them are Dark. So you'll be seeing that through a lot of these monsters. And honestly, I just can't wait to talk about these monsters. So, these monsters stretch from, well, Spell Rulers, which was formerly known as Magic Rulers, all the way down to Soul Fusion, which was one of the core sets for Yu-Gi-Oh! That included a couple of new cards for Gravekeepers. So, without further ado, we're actually going to talk about we're going to start off with all the older cards, and then we'll move on to the newer sets. So, we'll start off with Gravekeeper's Curse. Simple effect: when this monster is summoned, inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent. We have Gravekeeper's Cannon Holder. He tributes a Gravekeeper monster to, except for himself, to inflict 700 points of damage to your opponent. We have Gravekeeper's Vassal. Any battle damage inflicted to your opponent is treated as effect damage instead. We have Gravekeeper's Spy. Flip, special summon one Gravekeeper monster with 15 or less attack from your deck. We have Gravekeeper's Guard. Select one monster your opponent controls and return that card to hand. Gravekeeper's Watcher. You can, when your opponent activates an effect, where about your opponent's discards a card or cards from their hand to from his or her hand, you can discard this card to the graveyard. Negate the activation of that card's effect and destroy it. We have Gravekeeper Spear Soldier. During the battle between this attacking card and a defense position monster, whose defense is lower than this monster's attack, inflict piercing damage to your opponent, equal to the difference between their attack and defense points. Pretty much piercing damage. Then we have some late newcomers. We have Gravekeeper's Commanded effect. Discard this card from your hand to add one Necrovalley from your deck to your hand. We have Gravekeeper's Assailant. While Necrovalley is on the field, each card declares an attack. You can target one monster, face-up monster your opponent controls, and change its battle position. Gravekeeper's Descendant. Tribute one Gravekeeper monster on the field, except this card. Target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. So we have Gravekeeper's Recruiter. This monster's effect is when this card you control is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Gravekeeper monster from your deck to your hand with 15 or less defense. This monster's artwork is actually based off of Odeon, one of the members of the Ishtar clan, and honestly, a very good monster for it. His effect is similar to Witch of the Black Forest. Then we have Gravekeeper's Priestess. Her ability is that while there's no face-up field spell card, this card is treated as Necrovalley. All Gravekeeper monsters on the field gain 200 attack and defense. Gravekeeper's Priestess is also based off of another part of the Ishtar clan, for she is based off of Ishizu. Then we have Gravekeeper's Nobleman. When this card battling an opponent's monster is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can send someone Gravekeeper monster from your deck and face down this position, except for Gravekeeper's Nobleman. Then we move on to Gravekeeper's. I think we talked about. Oh, there we go. Gravekeeper's Ambusher. When this card is flipped face up, you can target one card on its graveyard and place that card on the bottom of the deck. If this card is sent to the graveyard while on the field after being flipped face up, you can target one Necrovalley card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. This card's effects are unaffected by Necrovalley. Then we have Gravekeeper's Heretic. This monster's effect reads while it's on the field is unaffected by all other cards on the field as long as Necrovalley is on the field. Funny fact about this card, this monster's artwork is based off of, well, Merrick. And so it resembles to Merrick for that similar hairstyle. Next up is Gravekeepers. I think we talked about everyone. Gravekeeper Spiritualist. Her effect is during the main phase of the turn, if Necrovalley is on the field, you can fusion summon one spellcaster type fusion monster from your extra deck using this card you control and other cards from your hand or field as fusion material. You can only use this effect with Gravekeepers. Uh, Spiritualist once per turn. Next is Gravekeeper's Headman. This monster's effect reads when it's summoned, you can target one level 4 Gravekeeper monster in your graveyard and either set summon in attack position or set summon in face down defense position. You're going to use this effect of Gravekeeper's Headman once per turn. Then we move over to Gravekeeper's Ambush. Oh no, we talked about Ambush. I'm sorry. We move on to Gravekeeper's Chief. This monster is one of the high level Gravekeeper monsters. It's the level 5. And its effect is you control one Gravekeeper's Chief. Gravekeeper cards in your graveyard are unaffected by Necrovalley. When this card is tribute summoned, you can target one Gravekeeper monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Then we have Gravekeeper's Shaman. She says she gains 200 attack for each Gravekeeper, 200 defense for each Gravekeeper monster in the graveyard. Negate all monster effects that activate in the graveyard except for Gravekeeper monsters. When Necrovalley is on the field, your opponent cannot activate field spells. Also, field spells on the field cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effect. We have Gravekeeper's Visionary, a level 8 Gravekeeper monster. His effect is you can tribute summon this card by tributing a Gravekeeper monster that you control. This card gains 200 attack for each Gravekeeper monster in the graveyard. If the face-up card would be destroyed, you can discard one Gravekeeper monster instead. Then we have Gravekeeper's Oracle, level 10 Gravekeeper monster. And its effect reads tribute summon 3 monsters or one Gravekeeper monster for this card's tribute summon, but not set of this card. When this card is summoned, you can activate any of the effects and resolve them in sequence based on the number of monsters. There's a number of Gravekeeper monsters you use for this monster's tribute summon. This card will gain attack and defense equal to the combined level of all Gravekeeper monsters tributed for this summon times 100. When this card then destroy all set cards your opponent controls. All monsters your opponent controls lose 2,000 attack and defense. So that is all the main deck Gravekeeper monsters. And then for the extra deck, we have the one extra deck monster, and that is Gravekeeper's Esper, who is a level 7 Dark Attribute Spellcaster Fusion monster with 2,000 attack and defense. So he needs 2 Gravekeeper monsters for his fusion summon. Gains attack and defense equal to the combined original level of the monsters used for his fusion summon. While Necrovalley is on the field, this card is on the field, they're pretty much indestructible. Gravekeeper's Supernaturalist cannot be destroyed by card effects, and while any cards in the field cell zone cannot be destroyed by card effects. During your main phase, you can activate this effect. That during your end phase, you can add one Gravekeeper card or one Gravekeeper monster or one Necrovalley card from your deck to your hand. You're going to use this effect of Gravekeeper Supernaturalist once per turn. And this is actually just an advanced version of Gravekeeper's Heretic. So in correspondence, this is pretty much an advanced version of Merrick. Now we move on to a lot of the monsters who correspond with the Gravekeepers in Necrovalley. We have the Cat of Ill Omen. Flip, target one child card in your graveyard and place it on top of your deck. If you control, your deck and place it on top of your. I'm sorry, I messed that up. Flip, target one child card in your deck and place it on top of your deck. If you control Necrovalley, you can add that card to your hand instead. Then the opposite is the Owl of Luck. Uh, Flip. When it's caught, target one field spell card in your deck and add it to the top of your deck. If you control Necrovalley, you can add that card to your hand. Then we have Grave. We have the Charm of Sahamat. Its effect is you can discard this card from your hand during until the end phase of the turn. Gravekeeper monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. And then we have Night Assailant. Now, why are we talking about Night Assailant here in the Gravekeepers? Well, Night Assailant actually happens to be based off of Gravekeeper's Assailant, for they have the same similar artwork and design. This monster's effect reads: discard when this card is discarded from your hand to the graveyard, you can target one effect monster in your graveyard and add flip effect monster in your graveyard and add that card to your hand. Then we have we went through all the monsters. I'm sorry. But now let's go into all the spells in chat. So of course we got to talk about the field spell itself, Necrovalley. Gets off Gravekeeper monsters for initial attack and defense. Cards in your graveyard cannot be Cards in the graveyard cannot be banished. Negate any card's effects that would move cards in the graveyard to a different place. And negate any card effects that would change the type or attribute of cards in the graveyard. So, pretty much, if you want a graveyard shutdown, this is the card to do it. And the cards that correspond with it. Of course, I think if we haven't already talked about it, Royal Tribute. If you control Necrovalley, both players discard any monsters in their hand to graveyard. We have Gravekeeper Stelly, Gravekeeper Stell. In this card's artwork, of course, it features Gravekeeper's Descendant. This effect reads: target two Gravekeeper monsters in your graveyard, add them to your hand. This card's effect is unaffected by Necrovalley. We have Necrovalley's Throne. Activate one of these effects, add one Gravekeeper monster from your deck to your hand. Immediately after this card's effect resolves, get an additional normal summon of one Gravekeeper monster. You only activate one Necrovalley Throne per turn. Then we have the Hidden Temples of Necrovalley. Only activate if both a Gravekeeper monster and Necrovalley are on your side of the field. You and your opponent cannot still summon monsters except for Gravekeeper monsters. Then we have another spell card, which ironically enough, besides the fact that it doesn't have, this card itself is just crazy to know that it's a Gravekeeper card, and that is Gravekeeper's Servant. When your opponent declares an attack, must send one card from the top of their deck to graveyard in order to declare an attack. Yes, this is a legitimate card, and this card does share the same kanji and name as the Gravekeepers. Just has a very weird and different artwork. Now we move on to the chat cards. We have Rite of Spirit. Select one Gravekeeper monster in your graveyard, so summon it to the field. This card's effect is unaffected. This card's activation effect is unaffected by Necrovalley. This card also features, Gravekeeper's Assailant, Gravekeeper's Chief, and Gravekeeper's Guard. I forget what the monster name is in it. I think we have a monster in the game. It most likely just sucks. We have Imperial Tomb of Necrovalley. This card's effect is when a Cell Tribal monster effect is activated, you control both a Gravekeeper monster and Necrovalley. Negate the activation of that card, and if you do, destroy it. You only use one Imperial Tombs of Necrovalley once per turn. Then we have Necrovalley Temples. When a Gravekeeper monster on your field and this card is on the field together, reduce the attack in defense of all monsters your opponent controls by 500. Once per turn during your main phase, if you control no cards, you can activate one Necrovalley from your graveyard or your hand and place it in your field spell zone. If there's nothing there. If this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect while in your possession, you can add one spell card to this Gravekeeper. Choose Necrovalley in its name and set it onto the board, except for Necrovalley Throne. So, this field spell is also featured this trap card is featured in the artworks of Necrovalley, Hidden Temples of Necrovalley, because this is the temple itself. And this pretty much just rounds about everything for the Gravekeepers. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. To everyone that is watching, I appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll have some more archetype videos ready for you guys soon. Thanks everybody for watching. HGJ signing out.